something clicked, and it's going very well with my attitude.
Oh, great.
My attitude is like cutting through all the shit coming, and the attitude is like, nope. It's like, I don't know how to say it. Like when the hindrance attacks, multiple hindrance attack coming, and the attitude is like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And this clicked like 1 week ago. I don't know what happened. I just started laughing, ha ha ha, ha. And Dhammarato was like, okay, I think you got it. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's very, everything is very diffuse. Everything is like hard to.
Perfect.
Like,
Perfect.
yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Congratulations, Jesus. This is very this is a monumental accomplishment. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there's I wouldn't say that the practice ever changes from start to finish, but along the way, certain things, certain aspects of the practice and what we're supposed to be doing, there can be moments where it really clicks and you really get it. So you start off, thinking wholesome thoughts, getting yourself into an easygoing state of mind, wholesome state of mind, getting the attitude right, stopping being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that whenever you remember to, which in the beginning is not very often, right? And then a moment comes when you realize how effective it actually is for how easy it actually is as well to feel good in spite of all of the hindrances and problems and chaos of the world and your own mind. So yes, even all the fucked up thoughts that you might pop into your head, or the uncomfortable mind states, or the bad feelings, that's okay too. So developing a sense of equanimity in the face of the ups and downs is leads to more and more jhana, so more wholesome states. Because when the ups are here, you don't cling to them and you don't desire for them, so you can stay in them longer. And when the downs are there, you don't cling to the downs either, because it's just the flip side of the same coin. It's both impermanent.
It's also tying in with the long breath and the short breath. You want the long and noble is good. I mean, short breath can be useful sometimes, but short and ignoble, something is like unwholesome. When you develop the practice, it's going to get shorter and shorter, and the noble, wholesome stuff is going to get longer and longer and better and better.
Mm-hmm. And the practice with the breath, I think it's important to understand that the breathing is by the situation. So trying to find a way to word this better. So for example, if you feel tension in your chest, it's better to take long, expansive breaths that really expand the diaphragm. Break up some of that solidity in your chest physically, like literally, like you feel the sensations of solidity in your chest start to break up a little bit, the tension. And let's say you're feeling dull. Let's say you don't have much energy. Maybe the right thing to do there is to take shorter breaths faster. So not necessarily shallow breaths. You still want to be getting a good amount of air in, but you can literally breathe yourself into an energized state of mind. So let's all try this just as a little sample here.
Do this with a practice too.
What's that?
Vim. I think it's Vim actually. Wim Hoffman.
Yeah, Wim Hof. Wim Hof has his own technique, but it's the same idea, right? The breathing, it changes your body physically, and also you can do things like control the temperature of your body, control your own immune system, and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So like breathing literally is foundational to getting the body feeling good. So getting the body in a relaxed, wholesome state, or an energized state as well. So these are all to counteract hindrances. So a good amount of our hindrances are based upon the activity of our mind, and then the rest are based upon the activity of our body. But they're both codependent arising. So how your body feels actually produces the kinds of thoughts that you're thinking, and the kinds of thoughts that you're thinking produces the way that your body feels. So you can attack. So the best way to go about getting into jhana and getting out of the hindrances is to attack from both angles. So attack from the purification of the mind angle, and attack from the breath anapanasati angle of getting the body relaxed, energized, releasing bodily tensions and whatnot. And then you can start to get into more refined states of consciousness and experience the fruits of the Dhamma the way that the Buddha canonically taught the fruits of the Dhamma. Which
I have a question.
What?
I'm sorry. Continue. No, I had a question when you finish.
Oh yeah, no, say it. Say the question.
When about both angles, this is interesting because I am sometimes I am in meditation and I don't know. I mean, sometimes I have doubts like, shall I just follow the breath, follow the breath, follow the breath? But then I find that going through some part of the body and relax them because I can feel the tension.
Yeah, so
very clearly.
that has to do with right there when you say follow the breath. That's the wrong way to do the breath meditation. So the actual direct quote of the sutta, it's very specific how it talks about breathing meditation. It doesn't say follow the breath, or it doesn't say concentrate on the breath, or it doesn't say point your awareness at the breath. It says, this is literally what it says. It says, as I breathe in long, I know that I breathe in long. As I breathe in short, I know that I breathe in short. So it's simply the recognition that you're breathing. You don't follow the breath. So it's, I'm breathing. And in my mind, and when I was breathing that breath, I was just breathing. I wasn't following the breath. I just know that I'm breathing. As I breathe in long, I know I breathe in long. There's no cat and mouse game here. So you're not following it. The breath is happening where it is. So the breath, the breath is already an experience that's going on right here. Like, you don't need to find it. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to follow it. Just simply recognize that you are breathing already. So then you can change your breath. And continue with the breath. Literally breathe in a way that you start to get kind of different sorts of tingly sensations. Breathe yourself into like a lightheaded state. Play around with it, right? So let's do a 6 count breath. So 6 seconds on the in breath, 6 seconds on the out breath. And after you breathe out, wait about 3 seconds before you breathe in. And you don't have to be super anal on the exact time, like, oh, I didn't get exactly 6 seconds, but just follow that general trend. So 6 seconds.
Cabane dedans. Je le cherchais partout. Mais... C'est pour ça que c'est tout pourri. Moi, j'avais mis dedans pour que ça tienne debout. Que façon...
Okay, now let's shorten the breath to about 3 seconds. But in these 3 seconds, I want you to take in as much air as physically possible in that 3-second time frame, and then push out as much air as you can in the next 3 seconds. You don't have to empty your lungs entirely, but just push out the air quickly for 3 seconds and then take it back in quickly for 3 seconds. And you're going to notice this is going to have a immediate effect on the state of your mind. So it's going to change how your thoughts are flowing. It's going to change the types of sensations in your body. So this is a learn by doing type of thing. So let's do this now for about 5 minutes or whatnot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now slowly, gently bring the breath back into some kind of equilibrium. All right, so how'd that feel, DJ? What did you notice from this experiment?
Well, that was a lot of fun. Definitely, yeah, just calmness, chill. The shorter breaths are pretty energizing. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. And it's fun doing it with friends.
Right. So yeah, the idea is that we're doing it together. So it's kind of like working out together, doing yoga together, whatever. It's a nice incentive. Jesus, how'd your breathing exercise feel experientially?
In the first part, was my attention was moving around to the contractions to relax. I was moving around. And the second part was quite intense, and everything went. It was like a really a lot of energy here and here.
Right.
Like really a lot of it, and kind of dizzy.
Yeah. So the dizziness, the head spaciness, that's kind of the point of the second type of breathing. So you're actually so you're getting yourself into a lightheaded, dizzy state of mind, because it's actually changing the nervous system, and how it's kind of what it's doing is it's interrupting the default mode network. So it's interrupting the normal way that your attention moves and the normal way that the mind's activity thinks and cognizes about the world and views reality. So um, the idea here is it brings you out of any sorts of mental proliferation about the past or the future, and it brings you directly into the sensations that are appearing and disappearing right now. So when you're in that lightheaded state, there's a lot of bodily sensations going on, a lot of stuff in the head, a lot of energy, and so in that moment, you're kind of becoming hyper aware of those sensations, moment to moment, rather than thinking about any kind of unwholesome things, right? So this is a training the attention as well, and this is training the samadhi. So this breath is kind of used as a vehicle to bring everything together to the sensory data of the direct moment. And when you bring everything together, um, the mind is unified. And when the mind is unified, you don't have to be paying attention to as much as how you're breathing at that point, but you could just start paying attention to, you can move from the breath to, let's say, the bodily sensations. And, oh, what does this part of my body feel like? What is the tension like here? Start to consciously release those bodily tensions. So any one concentration technique that says, oh, okay, I'm going to do breathing meditation, I'm going to stay on the breath for 20 minutes without moving from the breath. It's not really fully understanding the way that the Buddha taught meditation, because the way that the Buddha taught meditation is a series of steps and a progression in the meditation. And you don't need to you don't need to stay on one part of the meditation. And Anapanasati, there's 12 steps, I think. You don't need to stay on step 1 over and over for the whole hour, and then maybe tomorrow you practice step 2. So you go by how the body's feeling and how the mind is, how the mind's activity is unfolding. So, so in particular, if you do this in conjunction with the practice expounded in Two Kinds of Thought Sutta, so the removal of unwholesome thoughts and the recognition of wholesome thoughts being unharmful. So you're thinking thoughts that feel good. This moment is wonderful. Everything's okay. And at the same time, you're breathing in a way that's helping you release bodily tensions.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of do this in conjunction, right? You don't have to be hard-rooted on any one particular technique. The whole idea here is to get the mind and the body out of the hindrances. And when the mind and the body is out of the hindrances, then you have attained first jhana. So if you're out of the hindrances, first jhana is there, and that's noticeable. So, wow, now I'm feeling really energized. Suddenly I'm feeling really good. Suddenly all my thoughts are pretty happy thoughts, like one wholesome thought after another. At that moment, you don't need to be like doing a specific technique at that point. You should just be keeping that ball rolling of being in first jhana. Of wow, I feel great. My mind feels good. My body feels good. There's nothing to do. This is enough at that point. Let me just sit here and be satisfied and enjoy it. Enjoy first jhana. And so you can start to relax and even more into that. And then stay in first jhana. So an unwholesome thought pops up, recognize it immediately, pop it out. Because at that point, your body is feeling good. You're feeling piti and sukha. The only thing that's going to take you out of that state is the mind at that point. So now you're on guard, you're on watch, you're diligent, you're aware, you're enjoying the first jhana, but at the same time, that first unwholesome thought pops up, you recognize it quickly and discard it as once, and then keep going in first jhana. And especially for the beginning practice, and for those practicing the Dhamma, don't even worry about the other jhanas. Just first jhana is enough. Just stay in first jhana literally as much as you can. It's completely wholesome. It feels great. You're going to be able to, you can do first jhana, you can do all the things you need to do in your life. This is not a Pa'ak Sayadaw first jhana. It's a first jhana where there's still thinking, examining thought. So I can think and examine my car, and I can think and examine drive. How many of you guys have ever been just driving down the road feeling great? Just driving, listening to music or whatever, or just enjoying the view and just not a care in the world. And all you're doing in that moment is driving your car. Maybe you have the windows rolled down, but you come into almost a state of elation, almost a state of probably there's no traffic, right? No limits. So you're just enjoying the drive, right? Maybe it's like Saturday morning or something, and you're just today's a great day. What a beautiful day out. I'm just enjoying the drive. So that's first jhana right there. And we can do first jhana in all of the activities of our life and our sitting meditation and just sitting here. How great it is that I can sit here and I don't have to worry about anything. There's nothing I need to do. What a relief, right? First jhana. So you want to sustain first jhana as long as you can, and when you come out of first jhana, do the techniques that were taught to you until you get back into it, and then enjoy first jhana and staying at first jhana is enough. Because if you're in first jhana, and then as soon as you start wanting other things, then you're out of jhana entirely. So if you get into first jhana and you're like, okay, now I want some big magical second jhana, or I want some equanimity, or I want some fruition, or I want some insight, well, then you're wanting things. So that's counterintuitive to the point of jhana. But from first jhana, another thing you can do at the same time staying in first jhana is you can look around and examine what is it like to be in first jhana. That's probably the most useful thing that you can do in first jhana. Just examine, okay, now I'm in first jhana. What is it like? What does it feel like? What does my body feel like? What are the kind of thoughts I'm having? So you study first jhana. The more you get into first jhana, the more you study it, the factors of the jhana, what it's actually like to be in that jhana. So when you are feeling really good, when you are feeling on top of the world, when you are thinking wholesome thoughts and feeling good feelings in the body, piti and sukha, it's very enjoyable and can be mesmerizing. So you might miss it, what it's actually like. So pay attention while it's there. So pay attention. What does the body feel like? What does the mind feel like? Again, you can look at, Jesus, you can look at how is my attention moving? So when you get into that state of first jhana, what is my attention doing now? How am I viewing things? How do I view situations from this wholesome state? How do I react to people, right? Some minor inconvenience happens. Oh, that's not a problem. I'll deal with it. It's not a big deal. Just another problem. Like, problems have solution. Every problem in life ends up having a solution, right? A problem happens. I can throw a fit and I can get myself into, oh, got to deal with this, and oh, they've changed my flight time and now I have to sit at the airport or whatever. You could look at that situation in a wholesome state of mind and avoid all of the dukkha that comes from that reaction. So you could be, oh, yeah, I get to enjoy sitting at the airport for longer, more time to meditate, more time to do nothing. So like any inconvenience that happens in your life, you could just view it differently and just view it from a solution state of mind rather than a dukkha creating state of mind. If you view things from that kind of solution state of mind, then you start to develop the conviction of, wow, I really can handle anything. There's nothing that can come my way that I can't handle. And so this feedback loop lets you stay in first jhana longer, and as a natural byproduct of being in first jhana longer, the rest of the fruition of the path will just happen at some point. Like if you are maintaining first jhana, and you are really in first jhana for a majority of the time, it's almost a guaranteed you will get into second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and then even nibbana. So it's like first jhana is the way to nibbana. All you have to practice is first jhana, and being in first jhana as often as possible, because look at all the benefits, right? This is the best practice. It's good for your life. It's good for the people around you. It's good for your own mental well-being. It's good for everything. It's probably good for your physical health too. If your body is feeling relaxed and you're not constantly activating your fight or flight response and stress reactions and tensions, your body is actually in a state of, oh, I'm safe to heal myself now. So if your body is in a state of on the run, fear, hindrances, doubt, sloth and torpor, then it's going to be like, oh, I'm not in a state that I can relax and start to heal whatever problems may be coming up in my body, old age, disease, and death. So this, I'm not saying that like this is that you like it's impossible for you to get cancer or something like that. Like cancer just happens sometimes, right? But it lowers your risk for different types of ailments and disease, right? Some happy children get cancer. So I'm not going to say, like, I'm not one of those woo-woo people who say, oh, happy people don't get cancer. I think that's complete bullshit. Cancer just happens. Being alive gives you cancer. But there's certain things that we do that can raise or lower our risk of cancer, for example, right? Certain types of diet is correlated to higher rates. Obesity, particularly abdominal obesity, is correlated to higher rates. So you get the idea. So I'm saying having a happy mind and a happy body is correlated to lower rates of disease. I would go I haven't run the scientific studies, but I would go as far as to say that just through my intuition and observation of things. So yeah, it's completely good for you. And also the great thing is there's nothing else you need to do. It takes a lot of the load off of trying to understand any complicated Dhamma ideas. Because first jhana is incredibly simple. And then from the state of first jhana, actually, you can toy around with some Dhamma ideas. In fact, unless you are in first jhana, don't toy around with dependent origination. Don't toy around with any very nuanced and obscure insighty stuff of the Dhamma. But if you are in first jhana, contemplate feeling as feeling, contemplate mind as mind, contemplate sights as sights, contemplate the eye, contemplate the forms that the eye comes into contact with, contemplate eye consciousness, contemplate the Vedana that comes about because of that, pleasant, unpleasant, or neither pleasant nor unpleasant. And then contemplate what happens, how do you react to pleasant, unpleasant, or neither unpleasant or pleasant sensations. So when you're in first jhana, essentially, Jesus, it's essentially what kind of attitude you have. If you're having a good attitude about things, you're in first jhana. But it doesn't mean that like, oh, now like your whole body is blissful and there's no unpleasant sensation whatsoever, or there's no blemish anywhere at all. That's not the point. The point is you have a good attitude about it. I can handle this. Everything's still fine. There's equanimity, and there's still kind of that overall good feeling about things. Okay, it doesn't mean that every speck of your experience is dukkha free. That would be the experience of nibbana. But first jhana is, oh, you are in a good frame of mind. You are in a good attitude. You can handle this. You're not throwing a pity party about yourself. You're not throwing a pity party about other people. And you're not doing anything that's kind of ignorantly compounding your problems and making them worse. So this is the healthiest state to be in. And you keep doing first jhana sustain it, realize how good it is, realize what it's made of, realize what you can do in first jhana, keep it going, you're going to understand it more, and you're going to be able to get into it more. And then again, you stay in first jhana, you start to stay in first jhana. Oh, I've been in first jhana for literally all day, and then I woke up and I was happy, and I'm going to be in first jhana again. And oh, maybe I slipped out. Maybe something happened. I slipped out first jhana. Okay, that's fine. I got into it before. I can do it again. No big deal, right? I did it before. It's only a matter of time I'm going to get back in first jhana again. I just know that. So then it comes back. You get back into that first jhana. And then so you keep this momentum going of the Dhamma, and you start to see the benefit in all aspects of things. So the rest of the Eightfold Noble Path, you start to see, oh, first jhana makes my relationships better. First jhana makes how I interact with my job better. First jhana makes how my friendships better. It makes how I treat people. It makes how I treat myself better. It makes how I problem solve better, how I react to problems better. So you do this, it will have a transformative effect on the habitual tendencies of what your body and mind returns to time and time again, what your body and mind ponders upon time and time again. So normally we're constantly so from the ordinary state of mind, from the mundane state of mind, from the hindrances state of mind, the mind and the body is constantly returning to things about the past that you can't change, but you're throwing a pissy fit about. So it's something that you can't even change. No use thinking about it, but you're just bringing it back up and making yourself feel bad. And that's what, so in most people's free time, when they can think about whatever they want, they're going to start thinking about that kind of stuff. So obviously now their body is habitually going to be feeling bad because they're habitually returning to that kind of thought process. Or on the flip side of that, wanting something in the future, wanting some future gratification. Oh, if only I need to get this. When that happens, then I can be happy. The belief that your happiness is somewhere in the future, that's a craving, right? So the mind will start to bring up hypothetical future situations, not in a useful way, not in a practical way, not in a way that solves problems, but in a way that creates dukkha for you. So for the most people, this is what the mind, and for the beginning Dhamma practitioner, for any beginner on the path, this is what the mind returns to time and time again. So this creates the habitual tendencies, and this creates the sankharas and the formations of how your body feels and how your mind is. And then what that does is it just muddies the water and it makes insight impossible. You can read the entire, you can read Mastering the Core Teaching of the Buddha, you can read any Dhamma literature, you can read whatever, but if that's the habit of your mind and that's the habit of your body, it's not going to help you. So get yourself into this wholesome state time and time again. Get yourself with that good attitude. I can handle this. Everything's fine. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. I mean, when you are in seclusion and there is nothing to do and nowhere to go, think those kinds of thoughts. When you have to do something, oh, it's not a big deal. I can handle it. I'll just take it one step at a time. I have to do this thing that might before and not first jhana cause me stress. In first jhana, no big deal. I can handle it. So yeah, so you keep going with that first jhana. That's the key. And then once you master that, you gain an affinity for it. It starts to change the habits of your mind and body. Then you'll find yourself in just some moment that just everything kind of comes together. Things just kind of naturally fall into place because of the habit that you've developed, the soil that you've sown, and then things dissolve into higher jhana. So the mind maybe naturally just gently falls to rest, and then now you're experiencing just really good feelings and without thoughts at all. And then perhaps sukha and equanimity, and then clarity, a profound clarity of insidey stuff becomes prevalent, or becomes starts to make sense. So like I'm going to read a very short sutta that I put in something like this, where it may not have made sense as experientially to you before, but from the practice of jhana and from the cultivation of a purified mind and a purified body state, these things will become evident in a visceral, clear, profound, paradigm shifting, wow kind of, this is the secret of reality kind of way. So the Samyutta Nikaya 35.85, empty is the world. Then Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said, empty is the world, empty is the world. In what way, Venerable Sir, is it said, empty is the world? It is, Ananda, because it is empty of self and of what belongs to self, that it is said, empty is the world. And what is empty of self and of what belongs to self? The I, Ananda, is empty of self and what belongs to self. Forms are empty of self and what belongs to self. I consciousness is empty of self and of what belongs to self. Eye contact is empty of self and what belongs to self. Whatever feeling arises with mind contact as condition, whether pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that too is empty of self and what belongs to self. It is, Ananda, because it is empty of self and what belongs to self, that it is said, empty is the world. All right, so this tremendous burden, this tremendous mass of suffering, the whole world of samsara, the whole realm of samsara, your whole sense of self, your whole life, all of the burdens that weighs on your mind and body is seen as completely empty and transient. So it's completely weightless. So what before was this huge big burden is seen as completely empty of being me or belonging to me. So in a sense, this whole big shebang of manifestation and creation and disappearance of creation was all just happening on its own, and it wasn't really my problem to begin with. So like that's like I'm trying to like explain it with language, but this is like it's like kind of like you understand this experientially, so you sort of like you're completely unhooked from the sights, the feelings that are coming about of it, and the thoughts and etc. and the whole whatever, you know, comprises your experience, you're completely unhooked from it, and then you kind of just see it evolving, unfolding and disappearing, evolving, unfolding and disappearing, and there's no you in connection with it. And so that is the absolute cessation of suffering, that state. That's that would be the knowledge and vision of things as they actually are. And there's from that realization, not one speck of dukkha whatsoever. But the way to get there is by the applying a sustained first jhana. So that's all you have to do. So keep going with that. I'm going to read another one. Subject to disintegration. It's the one right before it. Samyutta Nikaya 35.84. At Savatthi, then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said the world. In what way, Venerable Sir, is it said the world? Whatever is subject to disintegration, Ananda, is called the world in the Noble One's discipline. And what is subject to disintegration? The I, Ananda, is subject to disintegration. Forms, eye consciousness, eye contact. Whatever feeling arises with eye contact as condition, that too is subject to disintegration. The ear is subject to disintegration. The mind is subject to disintegration. Whatever feeling arises with mind as contact as condition, with mind contact as condition, that too is subject to disintegration. Whatever is subject to disintegration, Ananda, is called the world in the Noble One's discipline. All right, so is there any questions, comments?
I have a question or two.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the talk, but I have a question about I have sometimes when I am just doing things or meditating, and with a wholesome state of mind, sometimes I have so much pity, so intense pity that I cannot handle it, and sukha is not so much sometimes because it's too much. Like, wow, I cannot handle this. I have to get rid of this. Sometimes it's like everywhere, like fire and ice and everything. It's like, oh my God, I cannot handle it. I don't know if you guys know a way to kind of. I mean, I can tune it down, but if I tune it down, I will like
well, see
being hindrance.
The problem, the thing that's creating the dukkha, is the mental formations. I don't like this, and I want this to change and go away. So the PT itself is not really a problem. But the PT, because of its intense nature in that moment, is creating a Vedana that is being listed, being perceived as an unpleasant sensation, and out of that unpleasant sensation arises craving for it to go away, and out of craving for it to go away arises dukkha.
Yeah.
So you see, as contemplate sensation as sensations. I mean, it's really simple. It's like you experience whatever it is you're experiencing, right? It might be pleasant, it might be unpleasant. If you just understand that, okay, there's this experience that's happening, and then this one is becoming unpleasant, and then now, okay, I see the mind wants it to go away. I'm craving for it to go away. And you notice all of this happening, and you start to see the actual mental formations and the mechanism by which it happens. Then you're not gonna be in it as much. You're not gonna be like bound to it. You just see it as a impersonal phenomena that's appearing and disappearing. And so you don't, at that point, when you realize all of these processes that the mind is doing that creates our suffering, then we don't really mind it as much. Okay, unpleasant
That's pretty
sensation.
top-notch stuff.
What's up?
That's pretty top-notch stuff. Is it Jesus or Jesus?
Jesus, yeah, the first one.
Jesus. Yeah,
Yes.
I've been there. Too much pity. One recommendation from Bhikkhu Buddhadasa's what was it called? Manual for Anapanasati for serious beginners was to view the pity as undesirable, because you're going to go through it anyway, and you can kind of just bypass it straight to sukha, but it might involve making the breath more subtle rather than coarse also.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think could be because at times I've been more intense. I've lost the control of the body. The body we just started to do like movements and so it's like even, I mean, what's the just being with it, but it gets very it explodes. And I'm like not out of control completely. So
I think
maybe just
mental process that leads to that like burst of energy from the pity, and calming that down. If you let the pity be, it will settle down to sukha.
okay.
Yeah, so not wanting it to go away. And then also, you make a good point, Marcus. In any of the piti and sukha to begin with, the idea is never to desire for piti and sukha from start to finish.
Catch 22.
Because the piti and sukha, it can be very enticing, very enchanting. So you'll be like, oh, I like this. Oh, I want this to keep happening. And then that's going to create dukkha. So the idea is that the piti and sukha is not the point. The dukkha nirodha is the point here. And piti and sukha inherently aren't satisfying. So even though they can feel good, it can be a pleasurable thing, it's not going to satisfy you. So even when it first, so like Jesus, this happened to me before. It might be the same case for you. So when the PT first starts, you're like, oh yeah, I love this PT. And so you keep it going. And then the PT becomes too much and you start to become exhausted by it. And it's just like, oh, I kind of want this in now. But that all happened is because when the PT first arose, you're like, oh yeah, I like this stuff. Give me that. So then you got it. And then you stop liking it. So the idea is piti and sukha arise. You don't cling on to it, don't desire for it. You just go, oh, that's piti, that's sukha. So the thought that sustains first jhana is the thinking and examining thought, not the looking and desiring thought. So you're examining the factor of jhanas as they are and just letting them be, letting them come and letting them go as they please. So you recognize this is piti. This is sukha. There's no like, yes, I did it. I did first jhana. I'm the one who did it. And I like this. Oh, I find my practice is finally bearing fruit and I can't believe it. What a miracle, right? Because then you're in this state of mind where this is a rare, special experience for you. And if it's a rare, special experience for you in your mind, then it's going to be a rare and special experience. And you're not going to experience it whenever you want to, because it's such a fantastic, amazing thing that only happens sometimes for you. And oh, I only get that sometimes. But if you have a different attitude about it, oh, it's just piti and sukha, no big deal. I can experience first jhana whenever I want. Right? No, it's nothing special. To me, it's a piece of cake. So you're not going to desire for it as much. You're not going to be as mesmerized by it, as wanting it, as into it, because these are just impermanent characteristics that come and go. It's not the point anyways. The point is dukkha nirodha. So the point is, oh, let me delve further into the nature of mind and how it's constructed. And I got rid of, you got rid of such a big massive dukkha to get into first jhana. So let me start to investigate these little subtle dukkhas. Now that I've gotten rid of a lot of the shit on the surface, now I can kind of look at these subtle dukkhas formations that I wouldn't really be able to comprehend or see with my awareness. So just slight bodily tensions. So the progression of jhana can just be described as the progressive dissolution of bodily tensions. So first jhana, a lot of tension is gone. Second jhana, even more tension is gone from the body. Third jhana, more tension. Fourth jhana, almost zero tension. And then whatever, even that tiniest bit of tension that is the perception that's still taking place is a tiny tension, and the feeling, even the feeling of equanimity that is there, is a tiny tension, even though it's such a subtle and refined tension that it seems from the perspective of no jhana that there's no tensions, but from the perspective of someone who's really going all the way and paying really close attention, even that perception and feeling is attention, and then seeing perception as perception, seeing feeling as feeling in its origin, its establishment, and its passing away, then the last tiny bit of tension can dissolve, and you can experience nibbana. So if you're too, you're not even going to get close to there if you're too, wow, look, PT. If you're too like hyped up about PT, right? PT is not the point. PT and Sukha is not the point. It's just, oh.
No, but actually I don't want it. I mean, this PT is painful sometimes. It's like oh my God, it's like it's too much sometimes. It's like, oh no, it's coming. So that's the thing. Sometimes I don't feel like, oh, I want this, I like it. It's more like, oh no, it's coming.
So that I mean, I would just, instead of calling that PT, I would just call that unpleasant sensations. PT is, although PT can get tiring, right? If you're on PT for too long, it might be like the nervous system can only handle it for so much time. Like it's very energizing, very enjoyable. PT is enjoyable, but then at a certain point, it's just too much for the nervous system to sustain. So the natural progression is for it to pass away. But if the first time that it comes is unpleasant, I wouldn't really call that PT. I would say that's just an unpleasant sensation. PT is rapturous, joyful. Yay, feels good. But then, of course, the PT can become tiring. And then, okay, just naturally just release it. But if it's something that's causing tension from start to finish, I wouldn't call that PT. I would just call that a bodily tension, perhaps, or maybe something else. But the response to it is the same. So whether it is PT or isn't PT, don't worry about that. The response to it is the same. So you don't desire for it to go away. You just contemplate it as it is. It's Vedana at the end of the day. So contemplate feeling as feeling. And don't compound the problem by throwing a pity party about it. So breathe, look at it, see it for what it is. And also, if it's really bad, you can also contemplate the fact of all of it's impermanent. So if you're going through a hard time, a lot of unpleasant sensations, find solace in the fact that these experiences happening now will pass away. You've never had an experience that didn't pass away. All experiences are impermanent. So take a breath, relax. It's okay. Experience it. It's impermanent. It'll go away. Everything's still fine. Right? So you do this kind of thing. Yeah, so at the beginning of the path is the same as the end of the path. So the recognition of impermanence just grows to its full fruition, but that's how you have to start with it. Wherever you're at, start with impermanence, and then it matures and grows. But the understanding of impermanence is liberating. So it's impermanent, so I don't need to worry about it. Is a wholesome thought. It's not satisfying. It's not going to satisfy me, so I don't need to throw a big, make it a big deal, right? So whether it's a pleasant or unpleasant sensation, the pleasant sensation is not going to satisfy me, so I don't need to make it a big deal, get all wrapped up into it, get infatuated in it, desire for it, cause myself suffering, because it's not going to satisfy me. And then also, if it's unpleasant, obviously it's not satisfying you. So, but and not self. So don't take ownership of it. It doesn't belong to me. These, like, are you choosing every moment the sights that you're having? The eye is just making contact. Sight consciousness is rising, Vedana, blah, blah. All of this stuff is just emerging, right? Moment to moment. So at what point is it you, right? So the thought that this is me, this is my unpleasant sensation, this is my dukkha, this is my problem, this is my piti, this is my sukha, this is my jhana, this is my anything. That is cause of suffering. So stop taking ownership of any of these aspects of our experience. It's the path to the end of dissatisfaction. All right, so I think that's a good note to end it on. If anyone has any questions, please shoot them. No? All right, well, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
It's good to see you,
Thank
Jesus,
you.
as always.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, DJ. And Marcus, it was nice talking to you as well. Thanks for coming. Good to see you, friend. And Casey, thanks for being here, and guest user. I hope you guys have a good week and a good Dhamma, a good moment. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
practice. See ya.